That was a press conference that was being addressed by a member health, Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul, and also officials of the Union Health Ministry, where it was said that the Prime Minister had said the 3 vaccines are being developed in India in his Independence Day address, and that they are in different stages. One of them will enter phase 3 trial today or tomorrow, it was said, and the other 2 are in phase 1 and phase 2 trials. He also said that as far as vaccine development is concerned, one shouldn't presume at this stage that every effort that is underway would succeed. He also said that the recovered patients have crossed the 19.7 lakh mark, which is 2.93 times more than the active cases, and the case fatality rate is below 2%. The target is to bring it below the 1% mark. That's what Rajesh Bhushan, Health Ministry official, said. And India recorded the highest ever number of tests in the last 24 hours, and that's a little more than 8,99,000 tests, and the overall number of tests in India has crossed the 3 crore mark, and that the active cases are 25% of the total cases. So 25% of the total cases are actually the active cases. The rest are not active cases. Also, average daily recovered cases is now more than 55,000 mark. It was also said that India is exporting PPE kits to several countries, and the daily new cases have come down from over 64,000 on the 13th of August to 55,000 now, and that is despite an increase in testing, that the daily average number of cases has gone down in a matter of some days. And he said that the focus as far as vaccines is concerned would be on vaccine distribution going forward, and the weekly positivity rate has come down from 10% to 7.72%. So that is another achievement that India has made in this battle against COVID-19. Well, let's focus on the other news stories now. The Supreme Court has refused to direct the centre to transfer the contributions made to the PM Cares Fund for battling the COVID-19 pandemic to the National Disaster Response Fund. And this is what the Supreme Court has said. A bench headed by Justice Ashok Bhushan said that voluntary contribution can always be made to the NDRF, as there is no statutory bar under the Disaster Management Act. The judgment came on a PIL filed by NGO Centre for Public Interest Litigation, seeking a direction that all the money collected under the PM Cares Fund for the COVID-19 pandemic should be transferred to the NDRF. The Apex Court maintains that PM Cares Fund are entirely different and are funds under a charitable trust. The PIL had also sought a direction to the government to prepare, notify and implement a national plan under the Disaster Management Act to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. The centre had on the 28th of March set up the Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations, or PM Cares Fund, with the primary objective to deal with any kind of emergency situation like the one currently posed by the COVID-19 outbreak and provide relief to those affected. BJP President J.P. Nadda described the Supreme Court decision on the PM Cares Fund as a resounding blow to the nefarious designs of Rahul Gandhi and his band of rent-a-cause activists. Nadda tweeted that the verdict by Supreme Court on PM Cares is a resounding blow to the nefarious designs of Rahul Gandhi and his band of rent-a-cause activists. It shows that the truth shines despite the ill intent and malicious efforts of the Congress party and its associates. Rahul Gandhi's rants have been repeatedly dismissed by the common man, who has overwhelmingly contributed to PM Cares, with the highest court also pronouncing its verdict. Will Rahul and his rent-a-cause activist army mend their ways or embarrass themselves further? The Gandhi family treated PM-NRF as its personal fiefdom for decades and brazenly transferred citizens' hard-earned money from PM-NRF to its family trusts. The country very well knows that the orchestrated smear campaign against PM Cares is an attempt by the Congress to wash its sins. MOS PMO Dr. Jitendra Singh also tweeted about the Supreme Court decision on the PM Cares Fund, saying, and I quote, Supreme Court of India upholds the validity of PM Cares Fund, refuses to instruct government to transfer fund to NDRF. Hope that should send out a message loud and clear. Senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad slammed Congress leader Rahul Gandhi for questioning the functioning of PM Cares Fund. He said that the Modi government had worked with honesty and that the same honesty is visible in PM Cares Fund. He also said that questions on PM Cares Fund has not left any opportunity to weaken the country's resolve to fight against coronavirus.
Transparency is writ large in the PM Cares Fund, both in terms of legal requirement and both in terms of transparent management of funds received on a voluntary basis. इसमें पूरे फंड वॉलंटरी रूप से आते हैं. हमारी सरकार ईमानदारी से काम करती है और अभी तक एक भी भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप लगाने की किसी को तथ्यों के साथ हिम्मत नहीं हुई.
Speaking on the Facebook controversy, he said that every individual has the right to be represented on social media, and Rahul Gandhi is making such an allegation out of spite because of their shrinking footprint in the country.
If the platform in question is a public platform, then every Indian, regardless of his ideology or commitment, has got the right to convey his or her views on that platform. It is a hard fact in the country. We need to know that people whose political base has shrunk like anything seek to dominate public discourse on these platforms. That is not right.
Ravi Shankar Prasad lambasted Congress leaders on the issue of hate speech. He cited examples of hate speech by Congress leaders.
जहां तक हेट वगैरह की बात है, अब ये चर्चा का विषय है और मैं स्टैंडिंग कमेटी पर कुछ बात नहीं कहूंगा क्योंकि वो पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी है, उनका अपना तरीका काम करने का है, अपने नियमों के अनुसार वो काम करें. लेकिन अगर हेट स्पीच की बात है तो आज मैं पार्टी के प्लेटफॉर्म पर बैठा हूं तो दो उदाहरण देना चाहूंगा. सोनिया गांधी ने कहा था अब आर पार की लड़ाई होगी, ये हेट स्पीच है या नहीं? और राहुल गांधी ने दिल्ली में पब्लिक मीटिंग में कहा था कि देश के लोग प्रधानमंत्री को डंडे मारेंगे. ये हेट स्पीच है या नहीं है?
A medical update issued by AIIMS stated that Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who was discharged from hospital last week after he tested negative for COVID-19, has been admitted to AIIMS for post-COVID care. He complained of body ache and fatigue for the past few days. The release said he is comfortable and is continuing to work from hospital. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu announced the Atal ranking of institutions on Innovation Achievements 2020 and ARIA prizes in 6 categories through video conferencing today. A special category for women-only higher educational institutions was also announced. IIT Madras retained the top rank in the Institute of National Importance Index under ARIA ranking 2020. IIT Madras was followed by IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. At ranks 4 and 5 are IISc and IIT Kharagpur respectively. ARIA is an initiative of the Ministry of Education to systematically rank higher educational institutions and universities in India on indicators related to innovation, startup and entrepreneurship development amongst students and faculty. On this occasion, Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and Union Minister of State for Education Sanjay Shamro Dhotre were also present. Addressing the event, Vice President said that ARIA is a major step to recognize excellence and will help in creating a conducive environment for students.
Utter ranking of institutions on innovation achievements is a major step to recognize excellence in creating this conducive environment to innovate. It was rightly named after the great son of this great country, Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Our Prime Minister is accelerating reforms. Reform, perform, transform is the mantra he has given. So everyone working in every field should think on those 3.
Vice President lauded the effort and said innovation is the key defining feature of human progress. He said educational institutions should reinvent to ensure that innovation thrives. The Vice President further said that the new national education policy has a sharp focus on this aspect.
Innovation should become a movement. That is the need of the hour. During the last 5 years, India has made considerable progress in the field of innovation and entrepreneurship. No doubt about it. At the world level, we have moved from 81st position to 52nd position in Global Innovation Index. The government has taken a number of initiatives to inculcate the spirit of innovation among students. New national education policy has a sharp focus on this aspect and has made a number of recommendations that will foster innovation.
Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said that new education policy provides students a wider choice in selecting their subjects. He further added that policy is an innovative scheme which will enhance different skills of students.
जो हम नई शिक्षा नीति को लेकर के आए हैं उसमें सभी छात्रों को पहली बार खुलापन मिला है उनको विषय की भी चुनने की आजादी है यदि 2 साल का वो कोई कोर्स कर रहा है 4 साल का होना था लेकिन 2 ही साल में छोड़ के जाता है तो पहले वर्ष में उसको सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाएगा दूसरे वर्ष में उसको डिप्लोमा मिलेगा फिर उसको डिग्री मिलेगी और क्रेडिट बैंक उसका बन रहा है यदि वो छोड़कर दोबारा आना चाहता है तो फिर वहीं से वो शुरू करता है डिजी लॉकर्स की व्यवस्था की बहुत ही अभिनव है छात्र के लिए उसके जीवन में आगे बढ़ने के लिए बिना किसी रोक टोक के ये पहली बार हम इन लचीलेपन को लाए हैं.
The Supreme Court has reserved its verdict on the pleas seeking postponement of the examinations in universities across the country. Delhi and Maharashtra governments had told the Supreme Court that they were not in favor of conducting the examinations given the threat of coronavirus. However, the UGC says that only the Commission can decide to conduct or postpone the examinations and state governments cannot take such decisions. Many students of universities across the country have filed petitions in the Apex Court demanding cancellation of the revised guidelines issued by the UGC on 6th July. The UGC in its revised guidelines has asked all universities in the country to conduct final year exams before 30th September. Supreme Court has asked all the parties to give a note on their submissions within the next 3 days. The hearing has completed. Results of the Swachhta Eviction 2020 will be announced on the 28th of August by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is the 5th edition of the annual cleanliness survey of the country. At the Swachh Mahotsav, a total of 129 awards will be handed over to top performing cities and states. PM Modi will interact with select beneficiaries, Swachhagrahis and Safai Karmis under the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban from different parts of the country via video conferencing. Swachhta Eviction 2020 is world's largest cleanliness survey. A total of 4,242 cities, 62 cantonment boards and 92 Ganga towns were ranked. A total of 1.87 crore citizens participated in the survey. The event is being organized by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Swachhta Eviction 2020 was completed in 28 days. And now a look at the headlines that we are following. Supreme Court refuses to direct transfer of PM Cares Fund to NDRF. The Apex Court observes a plan prepared by the government under the Disaster Management Act is sufficient for COVID-19 also. BJP hits out at the Congress after Supreme Court rules out diversion of PM Cares Fund. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad says transparency is writ large in PM Cares Fund, both in terms of legal requirement and transparent management of funds received on a voluntary basis. India records the highest single-day recoveries of 57,584, which is higher than the confirmed cases during the same period. India's COVID-19 tally crosses 27 lakh. Deaths due to coronavirus now stand at 50,921. Globally, the virus has claimed 7 lakh lives. India's farm exports rise 23.24% in March-June 2020 despite the pandemic. Agricultural GDP increases from 9.4% in 2017-18 to 9.9% in 2018-19. The agricultural imports declined from 5.7% to 4.9%, indicating exportable surplus and decreased dependence on import of agricultural products in the country. IIT Madras tops again in Atal rankings of institutions on innovation achievements 2020 under the best centrally funded institution category. IIT Bombay and Delhi have secured the second and third spots. The ranking announced by Vice President in the top 10 institutes in public funded and 5 institutes in private and self-finance categories. Goa Governor Satyapal Malik appointed Governor of Meghalaya. Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari gets additional charge of Goa. Flood situation remains grim in Bihar. Over 81.56 lakh people across 16 districts in the grip of floods. Several rivers, including Ganga, above the danger mark in many places, while in UP, 788 villages in 15 districts are flood affected. Simona Halep withdraws from the US Open over COVID-19 concerns. 6 of the top 8 women in the WTA rankings won't play in New York, as world number 1 Ash Barty and defending champion Bianca Andreescu have also withdrawn from the tournament. That's it then in this edition of the news. News and updates will continue on DD India and DD News.